Next question of issue of shares. X Limited issued 40,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of 2.5 per share. The amount was payable as follows: on application 2 per share, on allotment 4.5 per share, including premium. Means 2.5 is the premium, so 2 will be the capital content. On call, balance rupees 6 per share. Owing to heavy subscription, the allotment was made on pro rata basis as follows. Applications of 20,000 shares were allotted 10,000 shares. Applicants of 56,000 shares were allotted 14,000 shares. Applications of 48,000 shares were allotted 16,000 shares. इसलिए यहाँ पर एक टेबल बनानी पड़ेगी because the variety is too much. So we have to clearly understand that if there is default, the person is from which group. It was decided that excess amount received on applications would be utilized on allotment and surplus would be refunded. Even if this paragraph was absent, exactly यही करना था. Excess जो है, यदि क्वेश्चन में pro rata word था, तो you will utilize it for allotment and surplus would be refunded. तो चाहे ये लिख दो, चाहे लिखो pro rata allotment किया, then also it's fine. You have to do the same thing, and only till allotment you can use the excess money. Even if not mentioned in question, you will have to refund. You can't use the excess money for further calls. This is an important point. Ram, to whom 1,000 shares were allotted, who belongs to category 1, that is 20,000 वाले shares को applied जिसने किए 20,000 shares, उनको 10,000 shares दिए हैं. So who belongs to category 1 failed to pay allotment money. His shares were forfeited after the call and half of them were reissued at 12 per share. Journalize the above. So we will have to make a table. See how. Application received, जितनी भी application received हुई है उनको लिखेंगे. उनको applications received को कितने shares allotted है, that you have to write. Application received का amount, that is ये जो first column है उसका amount लिखा जाएगा here. First का amount. Shares allotted, transfer to share application, that is here. Second जो column है उसका amount लिखा जाएगा. Here transfer to share application, over here just the amount figure. And now excess money transfer to allotment and refund. Allotment के बाद भी कोई excess money बचता है, so that needs to be refunded, cannot adjust in call. Okay, so सबसे पहले कौन सा ग्रुप है वो हम देखेंगे. Applications of 20,000 shares were allotted 10,000 shares. So first group is application received for 20,000 were allotted 10,000 shares. Next, applications for 56,000 shares were allotted 14,000 shares. So applications received for 56,000 and allotted for 14,000. Okay. Applications for 48,000 shares were allotted 16,000 shares. So 48,000 shares were allotted 16,000 shares. This is applied, applications received and allotted कितना था. अब उसी का amount हमको देखना है. देखो application money कितना है, 2 per share, right? तो एप्लीकेशन रिसीव्ड का अमाउंट कितना हो जाएगा, 20,000 into 2, that is 40,000. Then 56,000 into 2, that is 1,12,000. Then 48,000 applications received multiplied by 2, that is 96,000. So this much amount is received at the time of applications, right? Not transferred to share application. So means what कि जितना एक्चुअल में शेयर अलॉटेड हुए हैं उसके हिसाब से हम कितना अमाउंट शेयर एप्लीकेशन में रख सकते हैं, वो 10,000 शेयर्स अलॉटेड हुए हैं. सो 10,000 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 2, दैट इज 20,000 कैन बी एक्चुअली यूज्ड फॉर एप्लीकेशन. देन 14,000 शेयर्स इस ग्रुप को अलॉट हुए हैं. सो 14,000 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 2, 28,000. एंड 16,000 शेयर्स अलॉट किए हैं. सो 16,000 इंटू 2, 32,000. Okay, now we will calculate the excess money. Excess money means what? एप्लीकेशन के टाइम हमको कितना पैसा ज्यादा मिला है वो आप हटाएंगे. सो 40,000 माइनस 20,000 comes up to 20,000. So excess money here is 20,000. 1,12,000 I have received, but transfer to share application only 28,000. So there is a huge gap. So excess money is 84,000. And 96,000 is received, only 32,000 will be used. So 64,000 is excess money. Okay, 96,000 minus 32,000, 64,000. Now how much can be used for allotment, that we will have to calculate. Okay, and over that is application money हो गया. Allotment money is 4.5 per share including premium. So shares कितने allotted हुए हैं? See, for the first category 10,000 shares allot हुए हैं. So 10,000 shares for the first category, 14,000 shares for the second category, and 16,000 shares for the third category. And उससे allotment money कितना लिया है? 4.5 per share. So multiplied by 4.5. This is the amount we can use for allotment. उसके ऊपर भी यदि कोई पैसा बच जाता है तो वो रिफंड करेंगे, कॉल में यूज नहीं करेंगे. So 45,000, 14,000 into 4.5, 63,000, and 16,000 into 4.5, 72,000. So these are the total amounts which can be utilized. So see, we'll calculate now. Excess is 20,000. I can use up to 45,000. So I will use the full money. That is, I will use transfer to allotment. Full 20,000 I can use. So 20,000. Okay. See, 84,000 is excess money and I can use only till 63,000. So I will use up to 63,000 here. And still money is left. बहुत ज़्यादा gap है इन दोनों amount में. 84,000 minus 63,000 needs to be refunded 21,000 because that you cannot use in call. Okay. Now 64,000 तक आप allotment में use कर सकते हो. आपके पास कितना है? 72,000 तक आप use कर सकते हो allotment में, and excess आपके पास 64,000 ही है. So till 72,000 there is no problem. 72,000 allotment तक का ही amount है, but excess 64,000 है. So full 64,000 use it for allotment. Okay. Now just take the totals. Refund हम total कितना करेंगे? 21,000. And what is transfer to allotment? 1,47,000. Then transfer to share application. Application में total कितना हम use कर रहे हैं? 80,000. Okay. And then एप्लीकेशन मनी रिसीव, टोटल अमाउंट कितना रिसीव हुआ? फर्स्ट एंट्री के लिए बैंक में अमाउंट कितना रिसीव हुआ? 2,48,000. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द एंट्रीज यूजिंग दिस टेबल. होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द कॉन्सेप्ट. जब बहुत सारी वेराइटीज होती है दैट इतने का एप्लीकेशंस को इतना शेयर अलॉट किया, फिर से 2-3 वैरायटीज है, it's always better to make the table because then you'll get confused बिना टेबल के. So what is there in the table? What are the columns? First is application कितने नंबर की रिसीव हुई और उनको कितना नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स अलॉट कर दिया. देन अगेन उनका अमाउंट ही, फर्स्ट और 2 का अमाउंट, और अमाउंट क्या होगा, जो भी एप्लीकेशन मनी है 2 रुपीज, बस उसको उससे मल्टीप्लाई करना है. सो दैट इज द थर्ड एंड द फोर्थ कॉलम. Then you have to calculate what is the excess money. So amount received and that much that you can transfer to application. उन दोनों का difference हो गया आपका excess money. Now you have to calculate how much will you transfer. That is the maximum that you can transfer to allotment account. For that you should know कि allotment में हम कितना पैसा मंगाएंगे from each group of shareholders. And if there is still excess, you have to refund, otherwise use to that extent. Okay, so starting with the first entry, you have to make a proper format of journal and then do the entries. The entry will be first entry to receive the application money in the bank. So bank account debit. 2. Equity share application account. 3. How much money is received in bank? 2,48,000. The third column's total. So 2,48,000. So this much amount is received in bank. Second entry is कितने शेयर्स कितने को अलॉट किए हैं. So equity share application account debit. 2. Equity share capital. 2. Equity share allotment. अलॉटमेंट के लिए कितना अमाउंट एडजस्ट किया है. 2. Equity share allotment and 2. Bank, that is कितना अमाउंट रिफंड किया है. ओके, सो हमारा इक्विटी शेयर एप्लीकेशन का अमाउंट 2,48,000. टेक इट फ्रॉम हियर. उसमें से कैपिटल कंटेंट क्या है, देखो शेयर अलॉटेड तो इतना ही है कॉलम नंबर 2 में, मल्टीप्लाइड बाय द एप्लीकेशन मनी दैट इज 2 रुपीज ट्रांसफर टू शेयर एप्लीकेशन. दिस इज द दिस फोर्थ कॉलम, इसका टोटल लो, द टोटल इज 80,000. सो उतना हो गया आपका इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल, टोटल 80,000. ओके, नाउ your share allotment. So how much you can use in the allotment, that is transfer to allotment, the total is 1,47,000. So over here, and then you have to see the refund जो आपको वापस देना है. So 21,000 is the total refund. So these are the first 2 entries कि आपने आपका एप्लीकेशन अमाउंट बैंक में रिसीव किया एंड उनको रिस्पेक्टिव आपने शेयर्स अलॉट किए. नाउ शेयर अलॉटमेंट की एंट्री विल बी द थर्ड एंट्री. सो आप ड्यू करेंगे. Equity share allotment account debit. Equity share allotment account debit. 2. Equity share capital. And it is also issued on the premium of 2.5 per share to securities premium reserve. Okay. So टोटल 40,000 शेयर्स हैं. 40,000 शेयर्स में आपने अलॉटमेंट मनी कितना मंगाया है? 4.5 per share and the total equity shares are 40,000. So you have to calculate that कि इतना कैपिटल में जाएगा और इतना प्रीमियम में जाएगा. Okay. So what is the capital content? 2 rupees. So 40,000 shares into 2 rupees, that is equity share capital 80,000, and 40,000 shares issued into 2.5 is the premium. So 40,000 into 2.5 is 1 lakh. So that goes into security premium reserve. And equity share allotment account debit 1,80,000. The total amount. Okay. Now tell me one thing. Will you do any entry of receiving the money in bank? See how much excess you have received. Check that. And if the excess received, how much you have adjusted against allotment. So if there is something pending, then you have to take the fourth entry कि बैंक के अंदर लो, and you can see that 1,47,000 is received. So we will do the entry further. Bank account debit for the amount received. Bank account debit. There are also calls in error regarding allotment. See, the point is saying over here, Ram, to whom 1,000 shares were allotted, who belongs to category 1, failed to pay allotment money. His shares were forfeited after the call and half of them were reissued. So reissued का बाद में ये shares forfeit हुए, उसने calls in arrear किया. So bank account debit, calls in arrears account debit. To equity share allotment account. Now see, 1,80,000 rupees should have been ideally received for equity share allotment. From here you can see 1,80,000. So 1,80,000 should have ideally been received, but we have received excess money 1,47,000 at the time of application. We have already adjusted it. तो उतना अब हमको नहीं मिलेगा, वो ऑलरेडी एप्लीकेशन के टाइम ही एक्सेस मिल गया था. सो लेस 1,47,000 1,80,000 minus 1,47,000 comes up to 33,000. ओके. अब इसमें कॉल्स इन एरियर्स कितना है? दैट इज एन इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट. पे अटेंशन. कॉल्स इन एरियर्स. How many shares? See, he was belonging to the first category. So जिन्होंने 20,000 shares apply किया, उसको हमने 10,000 shares allot किया है, right? So allotment का उसका default कितना है? उसके पास 1,000 shares है. Allotment of 4.5 is the default. So multiplied by 4.5. That means 4,500 he has defaulted for allotment money. But also remember one important point, at the time of application उसने ज्यादा पैसा दिया है, क्योंकि हर 20,000 शेयर वाले को 10,000 शेयर ही दिया था और उसके पास 1,000 शेयर्स है. ही इज द होल्डर ऑफ 1,000 शेयर्स. So this ratio is 2:1. So when he is allotted 1,000 shares, he must have applied for 2,000 shares. Right? So that is 1,000 shares का application money 2 rupees हमारे पास उसका पड़ा है in excess. So 1,000 share का 2 रुपीज से एप्लीकेशन मनी इज विद अस, सो subtract that 2000 before calculating the total amount of default. 4500 minus 2000, the arrears, net arrears come to 2500. Okay, understood this point? How are you getting this? The defaulter belonged to first case, in which people who applied for 20,000 shares are getting only 10,000 shares, and he was the holder of 1,000 shares, means he must have applied for 2,000 shares. So एक तो default कर दिया उसने allotment money का, 1,000 shares into 4.5, that is 4,500, and एक default क्या, एक जो default से adjustment होगा वो क्या है, application money 2 रुपीज से 1,000 shares का 2,000 ही होता है, पर उसने कितने शेयर्स के लिए अप्लाई किया था, 2,000 शेयर्स के लिए, मींस 1,000 शेयर्स का उसको अलॉटमेंट हुआ ही नहीं, तो उसका 2 रुपीज जो एक्सेस है वो हमारे पास पड़ा रह गया. 1,000 इंटू 2, उसको सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे 2,000, एंड अरियर्स, नेट अरियर्स इज 4,500 माइनस 2,000, दैट इज 2,500. सो 33,000 में से आपका अरियर्स हो गया 2,500, and this will form your working note 2. The above table was your working note 1. Okay, and rest is actually your part of the answer. So 33,000 minus 2,500 comes up to 30,500, which you have actually received in the bank. Now after that we will do the call entries. After call entries, the forfeiture entry and the reissue entry. So let's continue. Entry number 5th for the first call. Due करते हैं first call. So equity share first call account debit. To equity share capital. $40,000 is the total number of shares issued, and first call is of 6 rupees per share. It is given in the question. So 40,000 into 6 is 2,40,000. That is 40,000 shares into 6 rupees of call. Being first call made due will be on narration. Now entry number 6 for receiving the amount into bank. Has the full money been received? No, there is a defaulter and he is the holder of 1,000 shares. So 1,000 into 6 total money that is defaulted is 6,000 rupees. So your entry will be bank account debit, calls in arrears account debit, to equity share first call. इक्विटी शेयर फर्स्ट कॉल 2,40,000 से डेबिट किया था, तो अभी उसी अमाउंट से क्रेडिट करो 2,40,000. एंड कॉल्स इन एरियर, द पर्सन हु वाज होल्डिंग 1,000 shares defaulted, did not pay 6 rupees per share, that is the amount of the final call. So total default is 6,000 and the amount received in bank is 2,40,000 minus 6,000, that is 2,34,000. ओके, सो ये दोनों एंट्रीज हो गई आपकी कॉल ड्यू करने की और अमाउंट बैंक में रिसीव करने की. नाउ द 7th एंट्री विल बी ऑफ शेयर forfeiture. ओके, सो व्हाट इज द forfeiture एंट्री? आपने अलॉटमेंट में भी डिफॉल्ट किया है 1,000 शेयर्स का. सो 1,000 शेयर्स का जब अलॉटमेंट में डिफॉल्ट है और प्रीमियम है, तो इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल के साथ इक्विटी शेयर प्रीमियम को भी डेबिट करोगे, रिमेंबर दैट. सो इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट डेबिट. फर्स्ट राइट द एंट्री ऑफ फोरफीचर. इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल account debit. Since premium is also there in allotment and there is a default in allotment, so securities premium account debit. Two, equity share allotment. To share first call and to share forfeiture. अकाउंट. देखो इसमें अमाउंट कैसे करेंगे, कितने शेयर्स का डिफॉल्ट है, 1000 शेयर्स. सो 1000 शेयर इज बीइंग forfeited of the face value 10 per share. So equity share capital amount will be 1000 into 10, that is 10,000. Then we have securities premium account. 2.45 per share is the premium, clearly given in the question, 2.5 per share. So 1000 into 2.5, 2500. Securities premium account we are writing in forfeiture entry because allotment amount में भी डिफॉल्ट किया गया है. सो आप सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम को भी डेबिट करेंगे. नाउ टू अलॉटमेंट. अलॉटमेंट अमाउंट में भी अरियर्स है एंड दैट अरियर्स यू सी यू हैव कैलकुलेटेड हियर दैट टोटल अरियर्स एट द टाइम ऑफ अलॉटमेंट इज 2500. सो सेम अरियर्स विल राइट हियर. जो अलॉटमेंट के टाइम पैसा नहीं दिया 2500. To share first call, we have just calculated that on 1000 shares from rupees 6, he has not paid 6000 rupees for the call. So जो पैसा कॉल पे नहीं दिया वो है 6000 to equity share first call. To share forfeiture account, इस अकाउंट में क्या अमाउंट आएगा, the amount which the defaulter has paid till date. तो what will be that amount? उसने सिर्फ एप्लीकेशन मनी दिया है, अलॉटमेंट और कॉल मनी नहीं दिया. सो एप्लीकेशन मनी इज 2 रुपीज. अब उसने अप्लाई कितने शेयर्स के लिए किया था, अप्लाई किया था 2000 शेयर्स के लिए और अलॉट हुए थे 1000 शेयर्स ही उसको. सी बिकॉज ही इज फ्रॉम द कैटेगरी 1 ऑफ विच द पीपल हु वर अलॉटेड 10,000 शेयर्स applied 20,000 shares and got only 10,000 shares. So उसको 1,000 shares मिले. So 2,000 shares he must have applied for because the ratio is 2:1. So एक एप्लीकेशन मनी ही दिया है और उस समय 2,000 shares के लिए था. So 2,000 shares into 2. What he has paid till date is just 4,000 rupees. So वो सारा अमाउंट हम forfeit करेंगे. So your entry for forfeiture is equity share capital account debit, securities premium account debit, to equity share allotment, जो allotment का arrears है which you have calculated here, to share first call 6000 and to share forfeiture account whatever amount he has paid till date वो इसमें आ जाएगा. So forfeiture entry खत्म हो गई. अब next entry for reissue. Number 8. Now read the question properly. His shares were forfeited after the call and half of them were reissued. Means he was the holder of 1000 shares. उसमें से आधे ही reissue किए हैं at ₹12 per share. Means 2 rupees premium. Reissue की एंट्री वैसे ही करते हैं जैसे आप शेयर इशू कर रहे हो. बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल टू सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम रिजर्व अकाउंट. So your entry for reissue will be bank account debit to equity share capital and to securities premium reserve account. कितने शेयर्स इशू किए हैं, 500 शेयर्स. at the premium of 2 rupees per share and face value 10. So capital में कितना जाएगा? 500 shares multiplied by 10, that is 5000. Premium में 500 shares multiplied by 2 rupees premium, that is 1000. And bank में 500 shares multiplied by 10 plus 2, 12, that is 6000. Or you can just take the total of 5000 plus 1000, 6000, whichever way you wish. So reissue का entry हमने कर दिया है. Bank account debit to equity share capital to securities premium reserve account. Okay. Now the last entry. Even if it is not said, forfeiture का यदि कोई प्रॉफिट है तो वो आपको कैपिटल रिजर्व में ट्रांसफर करना है. एंड द एंट्री इज शेयर forfeiture अकाउंट डेबिट टू कैपिटल रिजर्व account. What will be the amount? Now you have to be very attentive because forfeiture कितने शेयर्स का किया है? 1000. रीइश्यू कितने शेयर्स का है? ओनली 500. सो जो भी आपका forfeiture का अमाउंट है, इधर 4000, that is for 1000 shares and reissue is only for 500 shares. So you will have to bring that amount to 500 shares. Okay. So our calculation goes like this. When there are 1000 shares forfeited, okay, then the amount total is for share forfeiture is 4000 rupees. So यदि रीइश्यू 500 ही किया है तो उस पे अमाउंट कितना होगा? 500 शेयर्स पे कितना होगा? 4000 divided by 1000 multiplied by 500, that is half of 4000, that comes up to 2000. So जो शेयर्स रीइश्यू किए हैं उस पे बेनिफिट कितना है? 2000. So this amount, not 4000, will fully go in capital reserve. Half of this 2000 will go in capital reserve because reissue भी आपने half ही किया है. So your entry will be share forfeiture account debit 2000 to capital reserve account 2000. And this is how a table wise question is solved, where you have to actually make a table because there are so much of varieties. Applications are put for different classes and different amount of shares are allotted to each class. When this is the problem, you should go with the same method. You should first make in first working note this table and then you should proceed for your solution of journal entries.